Hey guys, I'm Atharra. I'm going to be refuting Leonardo's speech, and his claim was that screen hopping is not a severe crime. He defined screen hopping off Urban Dictionary as the act of going from one screen to another in a movie theater, evading the ushers as to either see more than one movie for one ticket or to get into a totally separate movie than the one you have a ticket for. However, my opponent failed to define the word severe, so there's no real scale for what he meant when he said that. I'm going to go off the basis that if something is legally defined as a crime, it is a crime no matter what. His first secondary claim was that if someone is caught screen hopping, the punishments for the crime may vary. A person could be ejected, banned, detained, charged with trespassing, larceny, or a misdemeanor. He also said that someone could be charged with a felony for it. However, I found that a couple in Indiana was threatened with a felony charge, but let go with a simple misdemeanor charge when they admitted that what they did was wrong. Under the Penal Code 602 and 484, which my opponent himself quoted, a crime or a common theft is defined as trespassing, the unlawful taking of someone's property, or taking it without the permission of the owner. Screen hopping counts as trespassing once you go past the limits of the ticket that you purchased, and it's taking the theater's property, which is basically a free movie ticket. And it's without the permission of the owner of the theater, which is, again, a crime as defined by the same codes my opponent quoted. According to these sources he provided, he proved himself that screen hopping is a crime. His second secondary claim is that the money that a theater makes is not found in the ticket sales, but in the concessions. He claimed that only 5 to 10% of ticket sales go to the actual cinema. However, according to a CNN article, it's actually 20 to 30%. Not that much more, but it's still a difference. Since this is true, it means that screen hopping is stealing from both the theater and the movie studios that 80 to 70% of the ticket sales go to. Also, he also said that only 30%, there's only been a 30% increase in ticket prices since 2010. And he said it's because they know in regards to why prices have increased. That's not the strongest claim. Regardless, this whole claim, his claim that the money is not in the ticket sales, but in the concessions, is irrelevant since the source of a theater's income doesn't determine whether or not the act of screen hopping is a crime. His last secondary claim was that there aren't any explicit signs barring you from entering another screening. A customer paid to enter, and there's no guards posted down in the halls. However, if you go to Macy's or a store like that, there's no sign saying you can't steal a mattress or you can't steal a comforter set. So that doesn't make it completely legal. A ticket is essentially a legal license to be at the theater for the particular movie. Also, going back to his own definition of screen hopping, it says the act of going from one screen to another in a movie theater involves evading the ushers. Ticket checkers and ushers are meant to guide you to a particular area and to make sure you aren't screen hopping, so they are guards in a way themselves. That just negates his claim completely. For these reasons, I hope you agree with me in refuting my opponent's claim.
Well, it's a relatively narrow topic, and I thought that you did a pretty good job responding to those issues. The argument on whether or not it's a crime or how significant a crime is, I think you've got the right point there. There's no definition of what severe is, and that's really the scale on which we're supposed to judge the argument. You give us several criteria about the punishments that could occur, plus you talk about the criteria that makes something a crime. We've got the trespass, we've got the being there without permission, and you've got the loss of property with that sort of thing. I think that was pretty straightforward. And like you said, the advocate himself suggested that these things are technical violations. All the stuff on the second point, I would have started first with the argument about it being irrelevant. I think you're correct that that's not relevant to whether or not it is a crime. It's relevant to whether or not it's something we might want to worry about or should be concerned with, but it's not relevant to whether or not it's a crime. It continues to be a crime, even if it's a minor crime. It's like rolling through the stop sign. It may not be that big a deal. You slowed down. It was safe for you to go. However, you're guilty of a crime because you are supposed to come to a complete stop. Same sort of thing I think that you're talking about here. I sort of like that analogy that you had. It says, hey, there's no sign that you can't go do this. Hey, guess what? There's no sign that says don't steal at Macy's either. I thought that was an interesting analogy. It's one of those figurative analogies that works well, that kind of suggests the issue that we're talking about without coming from the same class of items, except, of course, there is that criminal element to it. I thought you did a nice job explaining the points. A little bit more reading than you want to have done, but I understand that you're trying to stay focused because the issue is a little abstract. All right, thank you.